The situation in the DPRK has reached an absolute fever pitch with a very, very real threat of war breaking out at any moment. Just recently, the U.S. declared its intention to carry out war games in South Korea, and the North said that if such a thing were to happen, there would be a major act of retaliation. Well, the U.S. has decided to go ahead and do them anyway. In fact, these are probably the largest war games exercises that have ever been done between the South and the United States. Upwards of 300,000 South Korean soldiers and 15,000 U.S. troops. Now, in response to this, the DPRK moved its artillery to the border and, made its usual threat of retaliation. Now, this comes at a time when the DPRK is suffering very real sanctions. Some new sanctions have been put on them, and these ones are not joking. These ones are not these are not kid glove sanctions. These ones are very real. All ships will be stopped. They don't even have to be under suspicion of anything. Any ship that's registered with the DPRK is going to be automatically stopped. The Philippines have already stopped one ship, impounded it, and sent the crew back home. They weren't even accused of doing anything illegal. That's just how it's going to be from now on. And now the South has also put in the new policy that any ship, regardless of what country it comes from, were to dock anywhere in the DPRK, they are now automatically on a blacklist where they will not be able to trade with South Korea, or will not be able to enter the ports of South Korea or any country that agrees to go along with this. So this is very, very serious. They're now taking these sanctions out on other people as well. They've definitely reached a new level. And this is really getting serious because right now China and Russia are not backing the DPRK up. Usually in these situations, the DPRK could count on China, somewhat defending them, very half-heartedly, but in this case, they're not doing anything at all. In fact, just a recent shipment of coal from the DPRK to China was turned back because they were told to refuse to take it. That's right, China is sending back the stuff that they normally import from the DPRK. So that's going to very seriously cut into the national revenue. All kinds of things are now being banned. Iron, gold, coal, titanium, rare earth metals being some of the most important exports for the DPRK. Yeah. Even China is now going to the point of blocking all money transfers from between China and the DPRK. Beijing is blocking money transfers to North Korea via Chinese state-run banks, including the Bank of China, Construction Bank, Industrial and Commercial Bank, and Agricultural Bank. Accusations are also being thrown back and forth. South Korea is accusing DPRK operatives of hacking into South Korean government computers. Now, this is, of course, nothing new. It's known that both sides do engage in hacking attacks against each other. In fact, the United States has already admitted that it has a program of hacking North Korean computers. This is another case where both sides are doing the same thing, and what's being broadcast is a selective outrage. This is something that both sides do to each other all the time. Now, what's really happened here is that with the launch of the recent satellite, the improved rocket technology shows that the DPRK is capable of getting an explosive warhead all the way to the mainland United States. And now they've gone from fission bombs to atomic bombs, which are far, far more powerful. What's happened is now the DPRK has gotten to a point where it's now a very serious, strong threat, and that they are very, very capable of harming anyone who threatens them or oppresses them in any way. So basically, what's happened is that the United States and South Korea have now given up their sunshine policy of just being, relatively nice to them and then just, ignoring them. That's not going to work anymore. It's going to take a far more aggressive stance to bring the country down. Because this is not like the Eastern European countries where the U.S. could basically just stand by and watch them collapse. They're going to actively have to go out and possibly destroy the DPRK. Now, what happens right now is that Kim Jong-un and the rest of the country has been pushed right into a corner. There's nothing they can do. They are backed right up. Either they have to capitulate or they have to come out swinging. So there's probably not going to be really any diplomatic solution here. This is a very finite thing. They're either going to have to straight give up or make some serious concession to the United States or South Korea, or they're going to have to carry out a military attack. It's one or the other. This has been pushed into, they've been pushed right into a corner where they are going to have to act one way or another, and a diplomatic solution is not likely. This very well could be the beginning of a war between South Korea and North Korea, which of course would include the United States. Now, I don't often claim that this is a thing that could happen. I think in this situation, it is actually very possible. We're going to have to wait and see. Thank you for watching. Why don't you go ahead, rate, comment, subscribe, and share on various social media. And if you want, you can head over to my Patreon page and show your support. Or you could head over to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available.